Good evening, I'm Matt Gajtka. Welcome back to Printscape Arena in South Point, Pennsylvania, where the Peters Township Indians face off against the Central Catholic Vikings. Two of the three one-loss teams remaining in Class AAA go toe-to-toe. PT busting out its black alternate jerseys, and Central Catholic wearing the white tonight. And Central Catholic usually wears the dark jerseys on the road, and it's kind of fitting because they have a different look here at Printscape than we're used to seeing, and this is a different Vikings team than what we're used to seeing over the past several years. Yes, Central Catholic did win the Penguins Cup championship a few years back, but since then it's been lean times. But under head coach Bill Connolly this season, they have rushed out to a 5-1 record, and they've allowed just 9 goals in 6 games. They're the best defensive team in Class AAA in the PIHL, but they'll face a tough task tonight. As you may know if you've followed the early season stretch for Peters Township, once again, it's a potent Indian squad. PT on the season is averaging a league best 5.8 goals per game in their 5 games. 4 of those are wins. And these two teams have something else in common. Their only losses on the year have come to fellow one-loss squad, Seneca Valley. So it could be argued that we're seeing 2 of the 3 best teams in the league to this point, even though Peters Township has not played as many games as most of the teams in Class AAA. Last time out for PT, it was, dare I say, a statement victory for them. 1 week ago, right here at Printscape, they defeated North Allegheny 4-1. They're longtime rivals. 2 Titans in AAA went head-to-head, and North Allegheny actually got the first goal last Tuesday. Luke Wakauskas, the dynamite freshman, scored, but then Troy Jones answered back almost immediately for Peters Township. Jones, a first-year varsity player and just a sophomore, but he has shown off a scoring touch so far this season with 3 goals in addition to 3 assists. So he tied it less than a minute after NA took the lead, and then Ryder Mertens scored a power play goal that would eventually hold up as the game winner late in that first period. PT added a couple of ones late in the third. Ben Kovac scored on a power play. Controversial decision there to let that goal stand, as Austin Malley appeared to be in the goaltender's kitchen. Well, he was, didn't appear to be. And from the NA perspective, they thought it was goalie interference. It was not called that. And Will Tomko polished it off with an empty netter, his team-leading 6th goal of the season. Tomko, the sophomore, after pacing AAA and goals last year, he has 12 points to lead all Indians this season. Also in goal for Peters Township, it was a bit of a surprise last week. Ethan Williams earned his 2nd consecutive start, stopped 16 shots for his 2nd varsity win. His save percentage on the year is now at .951. How about that for a first-year varsity goalie, going up against a couple of upperclassmen for playing time, and junior Kyle Thomas and Nolan Hilbert, who was between the pipes last year when Peters Township went all the way to the Penguins Cup Championship and the state championship. As for Central Catholic, they're led, as I mentioned, by their coach, Bill Connolly, and Dante Scalise, a familiar name that we've seen over the years here, a senior, is their leading point getter with 3 goals and 5 assists. But as I mentioned, it has been about defense for the Vikes. Jacob Dold, a 4th-year varsity goaltender for them, has gotten every start this season. He's 5-1, matching the team's record, obviously. And get this save percentage, about .944 in 6 games, including a pair of shutouts. So Central Catholic is playing extremely well defensively, protecting their goal with aplomb, and 2 of the shutouts they've gained so far this season in the 6 matchups tells you that. They blanked Mount Lebo, and they shut out Bethel Park. They also held Pine Richland to 1 goal. They held North Allegheny to just 1 goal, matching the feat of Peters Township last week. In addition to that, they've beaten Cannon McMillan 7-2. That's their biggest outburst offensively on the year. And I mentioned they fell to Seneca Valley 5-2. That's their only loss. That was 3 weeks ago, back on October the 24th. So the Vikings trying to restore some pride and restore some respect in the program around Class AAA. This is the way to do it. They're playing some sound hockey. And if last week was a test, that was an expected test for Peters Township. This week, if they looked at their schedule at the start of the year and saw Central Catholic, they thought maybe it wouldn't be their toughest game of this 3-game homestand, which concludes tonight. But in the end, at least from the offensive perspective, it might be. So I guess we'll see how the strength-on-strength matchup goes tonight. For Central Catholic as well this evening, want to give some players some credit on top of the ones I have already mentioned. Other leading point getters for the Vikings this season: Noah Hritz, 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. Beckham Alger, another name we've seen out there. He's a senior defenseman, and he has 4 points on the year. And there you take a look at the Central Catholic off-white jerseys. Not sure if those are alternates or just their regular home get-ups, because we haven't seen them yet at the Alpha Ice Complex this year. But it's an interesting combination with the old white, the vintage white, with the actual bleached white on the waist stripe. So different look for them, but of course the signature gold helmets with the Viking horns on the sides. And Peters Township, as I told you at the top, dressed in black this evening and looking sleek, looking ready for battle. Tonight's game is brought to you by Donaldson Supply Company on 10-Band TV. And again, a hearty thank you to the PIHL as well for their continuing support and, well, their permission to broadcast these games live over the internet. And it's also available on the archive on 10band.tv, and you can watch 10-Band TV on Roku and also Amazon Fire television. So plenty of options where you can catch high school hockey. And we've got another doubleheader coming up on Thursday, in addition to our regular slate of Peters Township games. This is my 8th season on the call for PT. As we see Jacob Dold drift toward his net, looks like, no surprise, he'll get the start for Central Catholic. For Peters Township, for the first time in a couple of weeks, they'll go back to an upperclassman in Kyle Thomas, who has an 0-1-0 record, an .818 save percentage. His only game came against Seneca Valley 4 weeks ago, and Peters Township lost that one, a close one, at Barrel, 4-3. All right, so no national anthem today. We're ready to face it off from center ice at the former practice home of the Penguins, and still very much a vibrant part of the Western Pennsylvania youth hockey scene. Dumped into the offensive zone by Kobe Ringwald, the ring leader for the Indians on defense, the only returning varsity player for the Indians on defense. Now knocked along and carried in. Malley's going to the net, tried to take a pass here, and it was deflected away from the front of the net. Solid defending by Tyler Gaffney for Central Catholic. Rick Tingle's the coach for Peters Township. He's assisted by Cliff Bumford and Chris Claxon. Up the far wing, Gaffney slams on the brakes, lost control of the puck. We play 17-minute periods in the PIHL. Ice cut after 2 periods. Ryder Merton stretches out, had the game winner last time against North Allegheny. Put it to the side wall. Malley couldn't make anything happen. And the Vikings ramble back in with possession. But leaving it behind, Sam Gaffney. 2 Gaffneys on the squad. I'll say their first names whenever they do touch the puck or get around it. Given right back to Peters Township and Ringwald. He finds Cole Newpaver, freshman, who shoots in to the cross corner. Alger goes back against the grain with that pass, and it's intercepted. Knocked right on goal. Dolden made the save. Back in front, Newpaver. He scores! That's some defense to offense right there. Cole Newpaver slides it home right along the ice, beating Dold. Couldn't get that flipper out there to stop it. And with 15:44 to go in the first, Peters Township has a 1-0 lead. Tomko gets the assist. New line out there for Peters Township. Tomko with Newpaver and Ben Kovac. Typically it's been Malley instead of Newpaver in that position, but Newpaver, well, he pays off that switch for Coach Tingle. Wrist shot by Tomko right into the belly pad of Dold, and he keeps it. Newpaver's second goal in 5 games in his first varsity year. The 9th grader, number 96, taps it home from the top of the crease. And again, Peters Township has a hot start. Last time out was just the second time all year that they were scored upon first in a game. And it was the first time they were scored on first and came back to win. That's icing against Central Catholic, as you probably expected. Tomko slugs this face-off win over to the boards. Ben Kovac, another high-scoring forward for this PT side. Swivels out high, feeds it low for Tomko. Newpaver's in front, already the recipient of 1 assist from Tomko today. Now Forrester, the defenseman, over to Tomko. Could not pivot past the defending of the Vikings. Still held in at the point. Forrester gave it. This is Kovac, stripped of the puck from behind, and out with it come the visitors. Evan Benskoter cruising to the boards. Left it there, now shot right through the top of the blue paint. Nobody home for the Vikes. Cox snaps a pass cross rink. Now it's laid on into the feet of Josh Moline, who shoots in. Wesley Forrester, senior but first-year varsity defenseman, plays it along. Now it's tapped ahead. Here's a chance perhaps. Creeping up was Charlie Caputo, and he was upended by Dold, who prayed it out of his crease to swat that puck away. And here's a first save of the game at the other end for Kyle Thomas. He fends that one off. So we go end-to-end after Dold prevented the breakaway chance for Caputo. Charlie Caputo playing his 4th varsity game, still in search of his first point. Well, he came close there to at least getting a loose puck situation. Referee Scrates drops the puck here. Scrates and Schultz are the men in stripes tonight. Say that 5 times fast. Sarkis unable to get that puck all the way through to goaltender Thomas. Here comes Peters Township back on the counter. Wrister by Palmieri. That save was made by Dole. Big rebound, though. However, his defenseman, Salvitti, found a way to get that out of danger. Turned over, though. Chance for Alexander, and a save made by Dole. Big rebound again, and the backhand hit the outside of the goal frame. PT buzzing, looking for a second one early on. That goal scored by Newpaver, just the 10th all year against Central Catholic, here in game number 7 for the Vikings. The Vikings are 5-1. Peters Township 4-1. Both off to tremendous starts in this 20-game regular season, as we're a quarter of the way through and counting now for Peters Township. From the side, spun out toward the point, but deflected out into the neutral zone. Corbel drives it right back in for the black-clad Peters Township Indians. This is Matt Gajtka on the play-by-play tonight. Todd Kazarowski and crew live from South Point, bringing you the pictures and that wonderful natural sound as well. Alger swishes this away from the front of his net. Look at Alger's skate and stick handle. Looking strong, 4 points on the year. Gains the zone, tries to get by a man and does, and he had one more way to go, and then he passed it in front anyway, and he scored! Central Catholic ties it. Beckham Alger ran the gauntlet, lost control of the puck, but he did find a way to squeeze it in front to Gaffney, who slammed it home. Sam Gaffney scores for Central Catholic, his 2nd goal of the year. And actually, look at that, Alger put it off the outside of the net and angled it into the slot that way. That's tough to defend, and we're tied at 1. Less than 5 minutes in, actually just more than 4 minutes in to this game. Hot start for both sides offensively. Story of this game coming in, at least, was the tremendous deep offensive attack for Peters Township against the team in Central Catholic who had not given up much this year. And so far, offenses are winning the day. Malley, a deflected pass comes right to Martin, and he's stopped by Dold in the slot. Rebound to Malley, and he's denied as well from a sharper angle. Camden Martin came close. PT keeps the pedal down. Malley's dish into the middle. Mertens couldn't take it. Back out at the point. Ringwald steps up, failing his initial pass. Then it bounced just away from the stick of Malley. And Ringwald stepped up and laid out one of the Vikings at the blue line. Beautiful hit. Speaking of hits, here's Rich Woods. He's got a whole highlight reel on YouTube, which I discovered this summer, of his hits, both against the boards and in the open ice. This is frozen by Jacob Dole, the Vikings goaltender, at the side of his net, and he holds for a whistle. Woods got injured during football season, but he is back. I was told to expect him near the midpoint of the year, so ahead of schedule is Richie Woods, senior D-man. Pivoting back here is Wesley Forrester to shoot in. Ends up in the clutches of Newpaver, the goal scorer for Peters Township. Now Tomko. Couldn't guide it past the defender. Tomko will try the slot with a backhand. Shot past there, didn't get through. Puck intercepted at center ice briefly by Newpaver. Top line out there for the Tribe. Kovac deflects this one ahead into the O-zone, back below the goal line, and quickly retrieved and cleared by the Vikings. 1-1, new paver for Peters Township and Sam Gaffney for Central Catholic. Salvitti hard off the boards. Wateska back into Salvitti's corner. The accomplished golfer bangs it off the wall again, and it does deflect out into the neutral zone. Tomko rips that puck away expertly. Will Tomko setting sail on his backhand side, right in front of the net with that pass, and it's taken away. Shoot in for Central Catholic's Fabian. Joel Fabian goes down on the hit. You could hear the Indians shout their approval from the bench. Kovac checked by Alger at the side wall. Puck's loose in the corner. Alger's on it for Central Catholic, and his high toss finds Peters Township real estate. Went too far, though. That's an icing call against the Vikings. Not a ton of turnover for Central Catholic, honestly. It looks like just a case of players maturing. As you know, high school sports tend to go in cycles. When your better players get to become seniors, it's not exactly brain surgery here. When the better players become seniors, you're usually better that year. But this has been still, despite all that, quite the start. Malley pokes this on goal. Dold boots it out. Dold is one of those players who's gotten better every year for Central Catholic. Took his licks early on. Caputo centers this one, but it's behind its intended receiver, Drew Alexander. Back with it come the Vikings with under 10 minutes to go in the first period. Noah Hritz couldn't one-hand it toward the front. Back out to the blue line, though. And it's Alger wide of the net with that one. Thomas watched it with a wary eye. To the corner, and the goal scorer, Sam Gaffney, protecting the puck, but lost control. Now Palmieri. Little shovel play out to center ice. And ripped across rink by Caputo. The Indians complete a line change. Here's a shot from distance that's absorbed by Thomas, and no further play on the try from Ben Scoter. That's Evan Ben Scoter, junior forward for Central Catholic. Moline will take the face-off against Ryder Mertens of Peters Township. Mertens went forward with it. It was a set play, and Malley read it beautifully. He got there. Two tough lines for Peters Township out there on the ice tonight. You see this one, tough to defend, I mean, with Malley, the big body with the smooth hands, as well as Mertens, nifty playmaker. He has the puck right now, and he's got Camden Martin, also a smart player. Mertens pulls up for a shot. Dole made the save, and Salvitti knocked it just wide of his own net on the attempted clear. That can be dangerous sometimes. You can shoot on your own goal if you're not careful. Malley handing off, and it's Martin with a one-timer into the glove of Dole, and he keeps it with 8:50 left in the first. Camden Martin with a handful of points on the year. Last time out, he picked up 2 assists to boost his total to 6 points on the season. Drive after the faceoff win by Woods. That didn't get through. And slid out to center ice. Woods on the back pedal. Goes over to his D partner, Ringwald. That's the experienced D pairing. I said earlier that Ringwald is the only returning defenseman. Well, now that's not true with Rich Woods back and healthy. And here is Woods. The ready defenseman knocks it up the wood. Malley dropped it. Mertens shot it. Saved Old. Lively rebound out into the circle. Eventually corralled by Woods. Bunted down the wall. Salvitti in some trouble there. Gave it away to Mertens. Ryder Mertens comes out of the corner, looks to shoot, and said, "Oh, pass it to the doorstep. It's loose." Dole trying to fall on top of it. And the Indians think they've scored, but the referee washes it out. No goal. With 8 minutes to go in the first period, the closest of calls for Peters Township, but they can't add a second one. Malley and Martin, and eventually Mertens again got in there. Fishing for his own rebound was Mertens. All three forwards put their hands up in the air, and then it looked like that was Malley who put his hands on his head as if to say, "I can't believe that stayed out." Tomko draws it back. Here's the second of those tough scoring lines. New paver with Tomko and Kovac. Kovac and Tomko led Peters Township in scoring last season. Kovac still just a junior. What was remarkable about that last year, that state championship winning team They were led in scoring by a freshman and a sophomore. And I can't believe a freshman has led the Class AAA goal-scoring race very often, which is what happened last year when Tomko, I believe, picked up 20 and 20, icing against the Vikings. I haven't seen Hudson Phillips out there, so it appears he might be a scratch for Peters Township. He has played the first 5 games for them, but with Woods back, someone's got to sit down. Tomko curls out of the pack with it. Right to the front of the goal with that shot. It's under Dold, loose behind him, and it squirts out the near side. I thought for sure that was going to go in the way Dold fell back into it, but he turned his pads the right way, away from the goal line, and somehow got the job done. Kept it out. That's his only job. It doesn't have to look pretty. Forrester on the handoff. Newpaver taps it over for a soaring Will Tomko. Gains the zone, dropped it back. Good pass, but Kovac couldn't take it. Newpaver now tries to send it toward the front. That was blocked down. Forrester up to Newpaver. Up for grabs. Gaffney knocks it out to center ice. Here comes Scalise. Our first look at the Vikings' leading scorer. His shot was saved. The rebound put out toward the point, and pass just wide of the near post. No one home for the Vikings. Back into Salvitti's clutches. Dished it right by the forward-checking Palmieri. And Salvitti gets it on the far wing. Turns and wrists it in. Fabian on the forward check for Central Catholic. Couldn't get there in time. And the Vikings have to regroup at center ice. Ticking down towards 6 minutes to go. In a fast-moving first period. No penalties. Couple of goals early on. Newpaver for Peters Township, and then shortly thereafter, Sam Gaffney for Central Catholic. Central Catholic has a weird thing going on this season with special teams. They've killed all 12 power plays against, but they are 0 for 10 themselves. So there are no power play goals in a Central Catholic game this year so far. It's about 2 opportunities per game, so they're playing a pretty clean game, and they're having a clean game played against them, if you will. Up into the air, and well, there is Hudson Phillips. I had benched him earlier. No, he is out there on the ice. I apologize to Hudson. See if I can get a grip on who is out there defensively for Peters Township. There's Corbel jamming it along. Haven't seen Joey Wateska. Maybe it's him who has not dressed tonight on the blue line with Woods back. Salvitti pulling it free. High slot. Took the wrister. Deflected into the netting over the high glass. Peters Township started its season with a win on the road at Pine Richland. Then it lost in that same building at Barrel against Seneca Valley. Since then, they've been rolling that stone downhill. Big win on the road against Erie Cathedral Prep. That started our Peters Township offerings here on 10 Band TV in earnest. And then wins back-to-back here at home against Mount Lebo, 11-1, and last week 4-1 against North Allegheny. Martin couldn't get the shot through from the right side. Now Woods from the left point. Woods kicks it to his stick, jams it along. It's in the skates of Malley. He somehow yanked it free, but right to a Viking in the corner. But they give it away. Martin's shot toward the front, deflected by Malley off the pad of Dold and into the corner. 4.5 to go in the first. Been all 5-on-5 so far. Pass too far for Ben Scoter to catch up to. Now he finds it in the corner. But Peters Township breaks it out. Good pass to the middle here. Finding Malley for a shot, and he just missed on the left post side. Austin Malley. Speaking of golfers, told you Salvitti, one of the most accomplished golfers in the area. He went to the U.S. Junior Amateur last year. Got to play out in, I believe it was Oregon. Well, Malley is also very gifted with a club in his hand. Just as gifted as he is with a hockey stick. Kovac takes this behind the goal. Not that golf hockey skill is, that crossover is unprecedented. Happens a lot, as you might imagine. Ringwald gives it away in the middle. Ben Scoter, end of a shift here for him. Tries to go one-on-one against Tomko, who was playing D-man, and Tomko did quite well to take it back. Now he stretches out those legs. Will Tomko, dynamic skater. Try to go coast to coast. He's done it before this year, but he lost the puck. Salvitti poke checked him. Ben Scoter's still on. Takes it to the outside against Forrester. Couldn't get that in front of the net. Actually, that was Scalise, pardon me. Scalise now dropping it back to the point. Shot on by Gaffney. Big rebound. Sam Gaffney takes and rips it over the crossbar. So it's Tyler Gaffney out to Beckham Alger. And then Sam Gaffney nearly had the chance. Or did have the chance, nearly had the goal. Alger ripped it right through the top of the blue paint. One-on-one for Kovac for Peters Township. Kovac getting inside to the backhand, and he just couldn't turn it over. It drifted off his stick at the last moment. Palmieri relays to Kovac. Alexander in tow, who follows on. He takes a bump from Sam Gaffney. Alexander, strong work on the boards, but he coughed it up. Jammed out by Salvitti and the Vikings. Seeing some layers of defense for Central Catholic in this one. Looked a little shaky to start, but they've recovered. You can see why they have only allowed 10 goals on the year. That raw total tops as well as the goals against per game is tops in AAA. Rashad. Dole makes the save on Caputo. He's had a couple of looks in this first period. So he's knocking on the door. Fabian wanted to power it in front, but that was fended off. And backhanded out. Beyond Palmieri's reach, but PT on the forecheck in the neutral zone, forcing, well, nearly a giveaway off of Forrester's blade and back out over the blue line. Final 90 seconds of the opening frame. Caputo turning and somewhat blindly backhanded that one, looking for Mertens coming off the bench. That didn't connect. Snap shot from the outside, save made by Thomas. Kyle Thomas gets the start, his second of the year for PT. Played a few games last year as well. Snapshot on Thomas, he made the save on Tyler Gaffney, the defenseman. Back out to the line, but no further. Salvitti. Now Gaffney. Here's D'Orazio trying to backhand that toward the front. And that was blocked. Mertens gets it out of trouble. He sends a shifty little pass to no one in particular on the far wing. Under a minute to play in the first now. Played by Wateska. So Wateska is dressed as well. The Indians might have dressed 7 D-men tonight, in fact. Giveaway, and here's a chance for Ben Scoter, and he lifted it over the bar from in tight. Close quarters, tough to finish that one. Point shot deflected out of play by Thomas with the goal stick. So we'll face it off in the PTN with 31.3 seconds to go in period number 1. By the way, Peters Township's defense is nothing to sneeze at as well. They have allowed just 2.2 goals per game in their 5 outings this year. So PT's got the first-ranked offense and the second-ranked defense. Central Catholic, the first-ranked defense. And they're tied for Baldwin for the 7th-ranked offense. Still a little odd for me to see Baldwin there in the mix, but the Highlanders, of course, got the bump up before last season and played some competitive games all throughout the year. Definitely a worthy new entry to Class AAA as Butler, the Golden Tornado, are back down in AA now. I like the merit-based system that the PIHL uses. Down to 4 seconds to go in the period, and time is going to run out on this one with PT in possession. Cole Newpaver runs out the clock. Newpaver scored the only goal. He scored first for PT. Sam Gaffney struck back for a Central Catholic in quick succession. That's how we've gotten to 1-1 through 1 period of play. We'll take a short timeout, let you catch your breath, and come back for the second in just a moment on 10 Band TV. It's 1-1 between Peters Township and Central Catholic. Indians and Vikings from Printscape Arena in South Point. I'm Matt Gajtka on the play-by-play. Todd Kazarowski and his crew are live on site. We're set, switching ends. The teams will now attack the goal that is on their side of the ice from the bench perspective. Can lead to some interesting situations in terms of changing lines, as we call it in this sport, the period of the long change. Just means tougher to get bodies in your defensive zone. As Malley takes this pass from Mertens. Malley wanted to drag it around a man, but unable to do so. Still comes loose to Mertens' side of the net. Mertens right in front with that pass, but picked off by Noah Hritz. Hritz pulls up and gives to Gaffney on a good look. Gaffney dropping it back. Scalise couldn't get the shot away. It was interrupted and backhanded to safety. Up comes Ringwald. He appeared to be obstructed there by Cox. And Cox's stick ends up in the corner. He's still looking for it. And the Vikings do touch up. It's a delayed penalty. And there we have it. Our first call of the game goes against the Vikings. And it was definitely a deserved stick foul for Nathan Cox. By the way, back in that first period, Will Tomko and Wesley Forrester got the assist on the Cole Newpaver goal. Forrester now has 3 points. And as I told you, Nathan Cox heads to the penalty box. Beckham Alger had the lone helper on Sam Gaffney's goal at 4:10 of the first. Newpaver scored at 1:16. Another quick one for PT. On the year, Thomas stopped 8 shots in the first period. Dole denied 12. Shorthanded chance here for Scalise, the leading scorer for the Vikings. Gets it on goal, but he didn't get a shot away as Ringwald harassed him just enough to force the flub shot. Mertens, in a 3-man rush. Left it back to the outside. Malley's in front. Kovac trying to find someone open. He does hook up with Tomko at the point. Back to Kovac in the circle. Now Mertens, fanned on the pass, but no harm as Kovac was right there in good puck support. Mertens had Malley in front but couldn't get the feed through. It hit a Viking skate. Tomko off to Kovac. Back to Tomko out high. Took the shot, saved by Dold, and he booted it away to the corner. Mertens off to Kovac. Now back to Ryder. Mertens right down in front of the net. Backhand. Score! Austin Malley finishes his own rebound. He lifts it high into the twine. With 15:15 to go in the second, Peters Township regains the lead with a power play goal. Ryder Mertens to Malley, and Austin Malley cracked it once, cracked it twice, and got the job done. Oh, what a first save that was by Dole, by the way. Incredibly athletic from the man who came into this game with a .944 save percentage. Tonight's game can be viewed live on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, also on the web at 10band.tv. The 10, by the way, is a tribute to Pearl Jam, their album 10. Our man Todd is a big fan of PJ. I think I just saw that 10 turned 30 years old, in case you needed to feel any older. This week, in fact, it might even been today, that the album 10 from Pearl Jam turned 30. None of the kids on the ice have any idea what I'm talking about, as the shot comes from the outside and it's stopped by Thomas on the drive from Ben Scoter. Out by the line, Nathan Cox is stripped. Cox was the man in the box when Malley scored the goal. Austin Malley has 5 goals on the year, 2 of them on the power play now. Forrester bangs it off the end wall. Up the boards, Palmieri tossing it up, couldn't get it out. And it's Ben Scoter again. He tried one too many moves and he was dispossessed. Just about 3 minutes gone in the second. PT gets another quick goal at the start of a period. Looking for another one. Here comes Caputo, and his wrist shot was deflected off the glass by Billy George. Actually, pardon me, that was Nathan Cox in front of the net. Caputo, who's had some opportunities tonight, handed this one away, though. And back parades Ben Scoter, 1 versus 3. Had some late reinforcement with Josh Moline, but not enough time to make anything of that rush. And the Indians softly send it out to the safety of center. Fabian lost the handle. Alexander gladly takes it. Doesn't see any options, so he shoots in. Goes in after his own dump. Banging bodies back there with Salvitti. Moline joins the fray for Central Catholic. Plucked out of there. Kovac took the shot, but he didn't get much on it. That was rejected by Berthold in the slot. There is Berthold. Connecting on a pass up ahead to Fabian. Got a partial break. Going to the forehand, and he couldn't turn it over for the shot. Thought he had an opportunity to let loose that backhand, but wanted to try one more deke at the last moment. Couldn't finish. That keeps the score 2-1. A couple of times the Vikings have gotten in behind. Here's a shot, score! Speaking of in behind, Will Tomko puts that one in behind. Jacob Dold for a 3-1 Peters Township lead. End to end we go. A miss for the Vikings. And then right back up the ice. It was jammed down by Corbel. Austin Corbel off the glass. Tomko picked it up, cut inside, the forehand move, and beat Dold past the glove hand inside the right post. So it's 3-1. And speaking of 3-1, I have been corrected. The album 10 turns 31, or did turn 31 in August. I don't know what I was looking at today that said there was some milestone regarding that. At any rate, another rebound chance for Peters Township. They can't slam it in. It comes off to Kovac, but he couldn't shoot it. It was pulled off his stick. Scalise ripping one on net, and Thomas had some trouble with that, but Kyle Thomas handles it eventually with Scalise and Noah Hritz buzzing his tower. I've also been corrected that the 10-band TV logo is a reference to the 10-band graphic equalizer, something of which I have no idea, and refers to 10 gigabits of internet bandwidth. Now you know. You're learning so much tonight on 10-band TV. Here, I just assumed it was a Pearl Jam thing only. So yes, some thought did go into that logo. I figured it did, but I just didn't know what exactly it was. Alger turning away from traffic. Beckham Alger, definitely an offense creator for the Vikings, but unable to get that shot through as it was blocked to the end boards again. PT doing a great job insulating its goaltender tonight, Kyle Thomas. Freeing the skates of one of the Vikings, Hritz. Lead pass, finding Scalise. Drops it off on the wing. Gaffney, the goal scorer tonight. His shot was deflected in behind. Hritz on it. It's Hritz, Scalise, and Sam Gaffney, the forward line out there for Billy Connolly's Vikings. Connolly, a graduate of Central Catholic. Talked to him a couple years ago when he first took over the job. I want to say that was 3 seasons ago now. I forget if that was pre-pandemic or post. It all tends to blend together after a while. Gunned up ahead and out of play. Might have deflected into the Central Catholic bench, in fact. 11:04 to go in the second. Peters Township has scored twice in this frame. Austin Malley got a power play goal. And Will Tomko scored his team-leading 7th of the season at even strength. The goal was coming at 1:45 and 4:09 of the second period, respectively. And Will Tomko, with the 7th goal, is now 5 behind Braden Sprickman of Cathedral Prep, who has 12 goals so far on the season from the defense spot. Incredible. Well, he scored twice against Peters Township. We saw he was the real deal a few weeks back. But that is something. It's already reached double digits before the second week of November is even over, really. Salvitti tapped this one up the wall, trying to methodically work it out of the zone, but the Vikings can't do it. D'Orazio joins the party, and he did pull it loose. Centering pass for the late charging Fabian took the high riser. Missed everything. Alex Sarkis from the left side. D'Orazio handed it over. Here comes Caputo for Peters Township. Shot it off the glove of Dold, and it hopped to the end wall. Caputo passed to the slot. It was a good one. It found Alexander. Alexander behind the back feed, intercepted. Billy George looks up and put it off the skate of one of his teammates. Ben Kovac with some room took a high shot, and Dole did well to gather it in with no rebound. And he hands it off to the referee. Ben Kovac has 2 assists tonight. He got the primary helper on the Malley goal. Actually, that should be Merton's primary helper and Kovac a secondary. Regardless, then Kovac also got an assist on the Tomko goal. I also believe Austin Corbel should get a helper, as he was the one who fired the puck off the glass, got it out, and down it went. And then Tomko did the rest. To the point, and there is that man, Corbel, junior, first-year D-man. Vikings had an offensive thrust, but they turn it over. Kovac handing it off for a shot from the far side. That's Newpaver. He was stopped. Kovac sharp angle, and he's denied by Dole too with 9:25 left before the intermission. Then the net came off its pegs, or at least one of its pegs. Just the one penalty in this game to Nathan Cox, and, well, he and the Vikings certainly paid for it. Malley scored to make it 2-1 early in this second. Tomko added an insurance marker. Here's Newpaver. Couldn't pull the trigger. He was knocked down. Firm stick check. Close to a penalty, but not a penalty in the end. Kovac fell down, almost kneeing this one along. Connected on to Tomko. Wanted to relay it through softly, but it's intercepted. Alger leading the rush. His softy in on net, and Kyle Thomas does find it. Playing the shell game with that one, but he grabs it with some traffic around. This is the first time this year Peters Township has worn its alternate jerseys, the predominantly black tops with the red stripe. I got to thank Peters Township. Sometimes when you have that contrasting stripe along the waist, it makes the numbers hard to read, but not in this case. Plenty of contrast to the contrast. Things that only play-by-play broadcasters think about. I guess official scorers too. Point shot gobbled up by Thomas. We'll do it again from that same circle. Yes, I believe all play-by-play broadcasters should be consulted on every uniform change. And as president, that will be part of my platform in 2024. Ringwald connects on to Ryder Mertens. Driving it around the horn. Ends up on the stick, well, almost on the stick of Newpaver, but bounced away from him. And a break back for the Vikings. It's Scalise, but he couldn't handle it behind the defense. That was relayed to him by Sam Gaffney. And here are the Indians again. Malley to Martin. What a move. Camden Martin backhand, and a save by Dold. That got everyone out of their seats at Printscape. Merton shoots off a body and right into the Peters Township bench. Face-off coming up in the neutral zone. I think backup goaltender tonight, Nolan Hilbert, is trying to fish that puck out of the bench, and he does have it. There's limited supply at this level. You can't just throw those away like you would see at the NHL level in those arenas. Porter Erb takes this draw. Erb steps up, kept it alive in the O-zone briefly, but not for long. Peters Township's got to go back for it. Ringwald up the far wing to Bryce O'Donnell. His first touch of the night. Wanted to send it through to D'Amico. D'Amico, Erb, and O'Donnell are out there right now. And what's the stoppage in play here? Might be a penalty against Peters Township. I think it will be, and a tough way for a shift to go for Nathan D'Amico, first-year varsity player, senior. He's off for 2 minutes. And that opens the door for Central Catholic, who have allowed their first power play goal of the season in this game. They're now 1 for 13, or opponents are now 1 for 13 against them. They're 12 for 13. On the power play, Central Catholic is 0 for 10. So they can try to reverse that trend as well. The only team with a 0.0 Blutarski power play percentage. I'm just full of dated references tonight. As on comes Tomko right on net and handled deftly by Dold. No further play. Central Catholic last in AAA, as you'd expect, with the 0.0 power play conversion. Pine Richland, though, just at 5%. They've scored on 1 of 20. Peters Township is now upwards of 37% after their conversion tonight. Tomko one more time shorthanded. Couldn't get it through. He had a couple of shorty strikes last year. Tomko scored in all situations last year. You can bet that he has 7 already this season, this in game number 6 for Peters Township. As I mentioned, now into the second quarter of the season. Salviti, shot pass looking for Scalise, but he couldn't get a stick on it. Dante Scalise setting up in the corner now, takes this dish from Gaffney down the wood. With under 7 to go in the second period, Scalise shiftily to the outside, couldn't stash it in front, but he gets it right back. A backhand, and that went off of Thomas, I believe, and up into the screen. 1 minute gone on the penalty to Nathan D'Amico. This is Matt Gajtka on the play-by-play. Mid-season, you could call it now. AAA action in the PIHL. It is my pleasure to be with you again. Tonight's game brought to you by Donaldson Supply Company. Every game for Peters Township this year features a game sponsor, but you too can become a sponsor on 10-Band TV as Dole plays this away from the side of his goal. Just go to 10band, TENBAND.TV to inquire about how you can get your business some exposure on our high school hockey night broadcasts all season long. Alger lost control of the puck. Ryder Mertens charging back 1v4. Mertens got around one man. That was Salviti. Mertens to the inside. Has a chance, and he's stopped by Dole, and the rebound cleaned up by Salviti. Always a good sign when you're killing a penalty and you have the better chances than the opposition. That's been the case on this power play. Mertens takes it and wheels it down and out. I think. No, it deflected out of play. Didn't hear the whistle. That might have hit the body of defenseman Rich Woods. Pinned up against the far wing. Here's a second look at that rush from Mertens. Mertens and Martin in this period, Camden Martin, have both shined in terms of showing off the mitts. Both, though, could not beat Dole at the business end of their moves. PT is, again, flexing its offensive muscles. Power play's over. Peters Township's killed it off. Central Catholic is now 0 for 11 on the season. Icing against PT just after the PP expired. Peters Township is off next week. As the 3-game homestand comes to a conclusion tonight. Griffin Lewis lost the handle. Paul Mary wanted to toss it along. He ran over Billy George, defenseman for Central Catholic. Clean hit. Griffin Lewis pivots back against the grain. Over to George, who got back up on his skates, but he couldn't connect for a pass up ahead. Instead, Corbel takes for Peters Township. Caputo on the dish through the neutral zone. Alexander gave it back to Caputo. Took the shot, and that was deflected into the corner. Dole reacted kind of strangely to that one as the shot changed trajectory on him at the last second. Always a worry for a goaltender. Alexander pinned to the wall by a couple of Vikings, but Caputo joins in to help. Alexander lays a check, but the puck squirts out the center anyway. Shot into the attacking zone by Palmieri, and he gets off the ice for a change. Griffin Lewis, good look up ahead as he hooks one on the forehand to Moline. Kane Phillip bodied up in the corner. Moline pass to no one on the far side. Taken on by Peters Township in the black and the red tonight. Tomko finds Kovac wide open, shooting, saved old. Rebound available And Kovac can't catch up to it before it's poked out to the neutral zone. Now under 4 to go in the second. PT has the only 2 goals here in this period. And icing called for and made by the official. I mentioned Peters Township runs out of home games for the time being tonight. Trying to sweep this 3-game stand. They'll be at Mount Lebo on Monday, November the 28th. We'll have that for you in some form or fashion. That's a 7:10 start, and that's the last game of November. Then they are back at home for the Miners Cup against Cannon Mac, Tuesday, December the 6th, a 9 o'clock late night start for that one in the first meeting of 2 between the 2 rink rivals. Kovac drop pass, new paver. I don't think he was intending to drop that one, but he did. It was tapped off his blade. Scalise leads the rush back. His backhand was weak and wide. Gaffney, Sam Gaffney. He flashed the hands there a couple of times, still keeps the puck, but away from the net. Scalise lost control. Corbel bounced it along to the near side. 3 to go in the second period. Over there is Newpaver. And the freshman looks up, hooked up with Kovac, or Tomko, pardon me, but shot right back in by the Vikings. Joey Wateska, junior defenseman, on the quick exchange with Tomko, who was hooked up a bit in the neutral zone. Tomko keeps on going, and he lost his edge. And that's a penalty against Central Catholic, pardon me. 2:30 left in the period, and PT can get another one here. Tomko draws the call this time, hooking. Another one that you probably could have made from home. Watching here on high definition on 10-band TV. This time Joel Fabian is the guilty man. Mertens to take the draw. Lost that one and popped off the glass and out by the Vikings. If I say Catholic Central once or twice tonight, it's because I also broadcast games for Grand Rapids Catholic Central in Michigan. So the 2 times a year that Peters Township plays Central Catholic, I can tend to get a little discombobulated. Mertens couldn't keep that puck as he was bodied off it. Some of the Indians didn't like the way that he was pushed there. Thought it might have been an interference. Mertens guiding it into the offensive zone, slides it across to the open wing. There is Tomko. He dispatches the puck deep. Taken on by Malley, who left the front of the net. Malley from the sidewall. Half wing. Ringwald shot deflected, and it went just past the net. Thought for a moment that one might have carried him behind Jacob Dole. 1:05 to go on the power play. 1:30 left in the period. 3-1 Peters Township. They have 2 goals in this period. Mertens takes it from Malley. Peters Township goes around the world with it. Tomko's shot deflected to the glass. Another penalty coming up, and it's going to be against Central Catholic. It's a delayed call. Now it's a 6-on-4 as a snapshot is gloved and held by Dold on the chance from Ringwald. So Malley drew a penalty in front. He is nodding, smiling. He's done his job. PT's going to have a 2-minute advantage for 34 seconds. I don't have to tell you this is a pivotal moment in this game. Both teams coming in having just lost once on the year. Both having lost to Seneca Valley, so I guess there's a feather in the Raiders' cap early on. The attackers for Peters Township, Malley, Kovac, Martin, Ringwald, and Tomko. Ringwald, open man there, Kovac, backdoor, and Malley couldn't tap it in. He might have been interfered with legally by Sam Gaffney at the last moment. Malley pivots out to the corner to take this pass from Tomko. Off to Ringwald, took the shot, and it just missed to the right. 6 seconds to go in the period. Time running out quickly. Tomko lines it up, wrists it, saved by Dold. And he keeps it in that big trapper hand with 1.3 to go in the second. 5-on-3 power play continues on, but it's going to be tough to score on it if PT can't connect here quickly before the end of the second period. have to reset the start of the third. And Gaffney wins that faceoff anyway for Central Catholic, and it's driven out to center ice, and it looks like time's going to run out on the Indians' 2-man advantage unit here as Mertens lines it up for a shot. Now down to 10 seconds to go in the period. Pardon me, the clock malfunctioning a bit as cross rink the pass goes. Scalise is on the ice. It's back to a 5-on-4. Swirling around to the outside, Mertens. Hooks up to Tomko. Tomko near side. Off to Ringwald, top of the circle. Looks it over, doesn't like what he saw. Pass it out to the point for Tomko. Mertens couldn't take the pass. Power play a little sloppy here for Peters Township. And clear down the ice as time does run out on the second. So Central Catholic with 1 kill to get it down to 5-on-4, and they still have a few more seconds to squelch here when the third period starts. But a solid job to stay in this game. Jacob Dold, as advertised, has goaltended well, but Peters Township has taken a 2-goal lead into the intermission. Goals in that second period by Malley on the power play and Tomko at even strength. Nothing from Central Catholic since 4:10 of the first when Gaffney tied the score. This is Matt Gajtka, and this is High School Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV. Keep it right here through the intermission. We'll have the conclusion of tonight's game from South Point right after this. Peters Township trying to improve to 5-1 on the season and get within 1 point of first place Seneca Valley in the AAA standings. Maybe a little early to talk standings, but maybe not. I'll usually bring it up occasionally this time of year. PT does have banners for regular season titles. They call them division championships on the wall to the far side of the rink. They have quite a few of those in addition to, there you see them, division titles 78, 02, 03, 04, 09, 10, 11, 13, 18, 19, and 21. And the state championships in the middle, 6 stars above the Peters hockey logo. Nice touch for this program established in 1973. So this is, in fact, the 50th season, if not the 50th anniversary for Peters Township hockey. I guess next fall will be the 50th anniversary. Not to confuse you. But this is season number 50 for one of the most successful programs, not just in Pennsylvania, but also across the country in high school hockey. And here we go, a short tail end power play to start this third period for Peters Township. They didn't score on the 5-on-3, had some good looks. Unable to bury. They have 30 seconds to go now on this advantage. 5-on-4. Kovac shot it off the toe of Dold. Into the corner it goes. And back out to the line on the fresh ice. Ringwald, cross rink. Back door there, Maui, but he couldn't guide it home. It was a good pass from Kovac. It was on the far side, head up. And so Peters Township will come up empty on this power play. They're now 1 for 3 in the game. That one power play goal is right now holding up as the game winner if Central Catholic can't get another one. This is Matt Gajtka on the play-by-play. Todd Kazarowski and his crew are live from Printscape Arena at South Point, the former Isoplex, if I'm allowed to say that. Tyler Gaffney shooting and fought off by Thomas down to one knee. Now he's on both knees looking over both shoulders as the puck was behind his net and swept around and out by the Tribe. It was 1-1 after 1, and that's going to be an interference call on the sideboards against Zach Palmieri of Peters Township. That'll put Central Catholic on the power play for the second time tonight. And Central Catholic could badly use a power play goal in general this season. They're 0 for 11 on the year, but in specific in this game, they could badly use one. So Peters Township scored in the first 2 minutes of each of the first 2 periods. Newpaver in the first, Malley in the second. It takes some doing now to get one in the first 2 minutes of the third because they're shorthanded now. Forrester jammed it along twice, now 3 times. Could not get it by the forward-checking pressure of the Vikings. To the point, and Alger. Down to this near side, Tyler Gaffney bounced it off of Mertens and out to center. Actually, that was Tomko who got in the way of that. Tomko killing a penalty along with Camden Martin, the forward unit. Forrester blocked that shot, and there is Thomas. Kyle Thomas to pin this one down at the side of his net. With a win, Peters Township will move to 10 points on the season. That would tie them with Central Catholic, North Allegheny, and Cathedral Prep for second. Some usual names up there in Seneca Valley and North Allegheny, and some unusual names in Cathedral Prep and Central Catholic. And, of course, Peters Township, accustomed to be near the top. Central Catholic, though, still has some say in that. Mertens guided it back and cleared definitively by the Tribe. Dold gave it along, but the Vikings give it up, and a snapshot over the crossbar. That one just missed from Malley. So again, Peters Township creating more shorthanded chances than allowing power play opportunities. Not a good sign for the Vikings, but they still have some time to fix that. Salvitti handed it off to Sam Gaffney. Back to Rocco Salvitti, and his low shot was stick to the corner by Thomas. Off the skate of Dante Scalise, leading point man for Central Catholic coming in, but backhanded off the stick of Ryder Mertens, and out to center it goes. Final 10 seconds of this power play. Gaffney pulls up. Hit the late man. Woods wiped out Sam Gaffney. After they let go of that pass, bouncing in front, Scalise couldn't shovel it home. Another opportunity on a centering pass. Kicked out of there, and now Tomko back to return to 5-on-5. Tomko right in, and his backhand guided shot nearly went home, but instead he was tripped up, and he drew a penalty against Central Catholic. Peters Township back to the power play. PT now 2 for 2 on the PK, and they'll go to work on their 4th power play of the game. They came in converting at a 36% clip. They've scored on 1 of 3 tonight. Malley's 2nd power play goal of the year, which moves him past Will Tomko for the early season team lead. In power play goals, that is. Malley's still 2 behind Tomko in overall goals. Malley has 5, Tomko has 7. Both have scored tonight. Face-off won cleanly by Newpaver. Back to the line. Ringwald shot it off the outside of the goal. Thought for a moment that had gotten behind Dold. And it did, but not within the 4x6, of course. Newpaver giving to Kovac, and now Tomko. Tomko to Kovac, lost control, and picked up by Hritz, and shot but not out. Held in at the line. See if PT can make something of that clearance mistake. Tomko gliding to the outside. Back it in front, it's Martin once and twice. Score on the rebound. Newpaver again. And once again, it's from right at the top of the blue paint, but this time it's on the power play. 4-1 Peters Township. Give Kovac another helper, his 3rd of the game. Give Camden Martin an assist, as it was hack and whack time. And the whack from Newpaver beat Dold. He flipped it over Dold's pad with his backhand. Cole Newpaver's first career 2-goal game at this level. He has 3 goals on the season. The freshman comes through again. 1 early and now 1 relatively late tonight to put Peters Township in the driver's seat. This was the final score last week against North Allegheny in another top of the division showdown. Not over yet, though. A backhand goes right through the blue paint from Griffin Lewis. As he buzzed right by Kyle Thomas. Almost looked like he was anticipating some contact and didn't get it. That can be just as upsetting and distracting as getting hit sometimes. If you're waiting for it, it just never comes. You get those alligator arms. Cross-ring pass and snapped in by Tyler Gaffney. Evan Benscoter shovels it in deep. Thomas reacts to a pass to the near side, but it's right to a black-shirted Peters Township player. That's Palmieri. And Zach Palmieri's wrist shot goes high off of Dold. Off the glass, back out to center ice. Palmieri bumped it right by Benscoter at center. Shot in on Dold, save made on that chance from Drew Alexander. Peters Township revs it up again with a 3-goal lead. On the verge of going 3-0 on the homestand. O'Donnell overskated. Wateska did not. O'Donnell trying to poke it loose. Instead it hops onto the stick of Sam Gaffney, who has the only goal for Central Catholic tonight. His centering play knocked away from Hritz on the doorstep. Wateska banged into by Hritz, but Wateska moved it nicely. And it's on to Martin. And Martin sends it up to Erb, but he's dispossessed at center ice. Wesley Forrester, senior defenseman. Feeds it up to Porter Erb, his classmate. He simply guides it up ahead, keeping things simple, as you'd expect from a checking line in this situation. Gaffney on the extended handoff. Thomas makes the save on the shot from Beckham Alger. Mertens takes the ice available to him. Ryder Mertens, a sneaky little shot there, and Dold had to hold his ground to kick it away. Tonight's game brought to you by Donaldson Supply Company, one of our game sponsors this year for Peters Township. That roster is full, but we still have other season sponsors that we can make available to you, season sponsorships, I should say. Just go to 10band.tv for details on how to get involved. All sorts of packages available to you. Martin skates into this great lead pass, and his low shot kicked out by Dold. So Jacob Dold's done well in this game, but hasn't had a lot of offensive support. And not that Central Catholic came in lighting the world on fire when it comes to scoring. They were in the bottom half of AAA, in fact, entering tonight, despite their 5-1 record. But they had to figure they would need to get more than one to beat PT on this night. I don't know how much they thought they'd be able to limit Peters Township, as we have banging bodies at center ice. The puck shot in by Alex Sarkis, but it's icing. No, it's a penalty, pardon me. A penalty against Central Catholic's Joel Fabian. No, I was wrong. It's actually against Camden Martin of Peters Township. Pardon me. I thought the visitors box was opening up. Instead, the home box will take in Camden Martin for the next two. Another chance for the Vikings to get back in this one, if they can take the hand out. Wood skates onto the ice for Peters Township. Cleared up, but not out after the faceoff win for PT. Cox held it in with the glove. Dropped it to his stick. Now it's in deep. Woods levels one of the Vikings. That's Woods' MO. You got to keep your head up out there. Cox's shot goes through traffic and wide. Griffin Lewis, who just took that hit, now moved it out to the point, and Kovac flushed it out. Got it past Salvitti. And Tomko picks this off. Shorthanded chance. Pad save Dold on Tomko. That's what Woods does. He makes you on edge. You never quite know if he's going to come out and try to hit you. So you have to play with your head up, and for some players, that's uncomfortable. Tomko dragging it into open ice. Little saucer pass over the stick of Kovac, but Ben Kovac catches up to it in the corner. Tomko pressuring, but instead it's settled down by Evan Benskoder behind the goal. Nearly a minute gone on this power play. Third of the night for the Vikes. They really haven't come close to scoring on the power play yet. Tomko swings it ahead. Now taken back in by Benskoder to the corner. He's crushed on a strong hit. And the puck cleared again, all 200 feet by the Indians. Dold, who handles the puck well for a goaltender, coughed this one up in the neutral zone, though. Coming back for a snapshot, and Dold holds this on the shorthanded bid. .21 seconds to go on the Central Catholic power play, but PT has had a couple of opportunities on net during it. Peters Township's power play, or a penalty kill, by the way, also quite good. Newpaver in a look for the hat trick from the outside. Dold eats that one up. Anyway, the PK on the season for PT remains flawless. So we had two perfect penalty kills coming into tonight, and Peters Township's remains without blemish. They've killed off 14 in a row to start the season. Trying to make it 15 here. They're close to that. More than halfway through the third period. We play 17-minute periods in the PIHL. Back to the line. Tyler Gaffney. Cross-wing to Alger. It's broken up. Breaking back, Ryder Mertens. Pulling up in the high slot, but he couldn't get past the back-checking Tyler Gaffney. Penalty is over. Camden Martin's back out on the ice. Peters Township, 15 for 15 on the PK to start the season. Mertens hooking up with a chance for Charlie Caputo, and his backhand right into the belly of Dold. Just one goal in this third period. It has gone to Peters Township. Cole Newpaver's second of the night. One at even strength back in the first, one on the power play. here in the third. And Ben Kovac has assists on 3 goals this evening. Bump him up to 13 points on the year. Level with Will Tomko, I believe. Actually, no, Tomko is now at 14 with a goal and an assist this evening. 7 and 7 on the year. Tossed out by the Indians. Right back into PT Real Estate. That's where Austin Corbel catches up to it. His backhand finds Jones. Swings it near wing. Zach Palmieri. Tapped it off a stick, but right to Alexander. The low cycle game effective here for Peters Township. Alexander now swings high with it. He has Hudson Phillips. Dealt it on back to him. Phillips' shot. Nearly got all the way through. Chance there for Alexander off the carom. But he's stopped by Dold. With Caputo right in front of the net. Too many big left-handed shooters on the PT side this year. You've got Caputo joining the ranks of Malley and Troy Jones. Yes, PT does have its share of power forwards in 22-23. Palmieri catches up to this deflected pass. Chops it below the goal line. Alexander, this line's still out there. Caputo to Palmieri in his skates. He couldn't kick it to his stick. But Corbel, again, keeps it in PT possession. Palmieri to Alexander, turning against the defensive Nathan Cox. Palmieri tried to center it, and it's intercepted. Taken away by Griffin Lewis, who turns defense into offense, burrowing down into the corner from behind the net. Steps on the brakes. Lewis turns this way and that. Still working hard, trying to get his Vikings back into this one. Vikings haven't lost in 4 weeks since they fell to Seneca Valley 5-2. It's been a surprisingly good start for Central Catholic. Turning wrister by Moline. That was blocked to the corner. Back out to the point again. Backhanded down below the goal line by Rocco Salvitti. And cleared out by Hudson Phillips of Peters Township. Down the ice it goes for an icing. Yes, Central Catholic on the year has 2 shutouts. They've allowed more than 2 goals just once. That was when they lost to Seneca Valley. Now they've allowed more than 2 twice. They beat Mount Lebo 1-0, beat North Allegheny 2-1, beat Cannon Mac 7-2 at home. So this is their first trip down to South Point on the season. Beat Bethel Park 3-0 and beat Pine Richland 4-1. So all relatively low-scoring games in the context of high school hockey, especially low-scoring games. But the Vikings have been comfortable in those games. This one pretty buttoned down in terms of number of goals. So far, just the 5. It's probably a little below average in the PIHL, if I had to wager a guess without doing the math. Erb couldn't take that pass out by the line, and Erb is calling for a penalty. He's saying something happened there, or maybe he was calling for an offside. Yes, that's what it was. He was saying the Vikings brought it right back in before they cleared the zone. It appears he was right. Thank you for watching 10-Band TV. Again, this is High School Hockey Night Live. We're glad to bring it to you all season long. Tonight's game presented by Donaldson Supply Company. Peters Township scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 here in the third. They allowed just the 1 early goal by Sam Gaffney. Since then, a goose egg for Kyle Thomas and crew. Tom goes in front of the net. Can't take this pass, though. Never got through from Newpaver, who's a little frustrated by that. Frozen by Dold with 3:14 to go in regulation time. Up next for Catholic, or Central Catholic. See, I told you I knew I'd say it in reverse at least once tonight. Anyway, Pine Richland coming into Alpha Ice Complex next Monday at 6 o'clock. That's their final game of November. Another whistle and a stoppage. And looks like a penalty's on the way. It is against Peters Township's Will Tomko. Rare foul against him. And the PK gets tested one more time. 15 for 15 on the season. Central Catholic needs a quick one to allow themselves a realistic bit of hope in the final couple of minutes. Gaffney fishes it free. Sam Gaffney to the outside. Beckham Alger back to Gaffney. Open for the shot. Saved by Thomas. Big rebound. Bounces to the far side. And cleared by Alexander. Best chance on the power play tonight for Central Catholic. Thomas and company say no. 2.5 to go in this game. Tyler Gaffney leans in. Against Gajtka. Gave it up. Palmieri intercepted the pass. Attempted out to the blue line. Palmieri working against Salviti. Got around him to the outside. Palmieri's pass. He was picked off himself. Gaffney. Turnabout fair play there. Alger protecting to the outside on his forehand. Colliding with one of the Indians in the corner, but Alger still has it. He's got Scalise in front. 2 minutes to go in the game. Saucers one out to Salviti. His wrist shot blocked by Palmieri in the high slot. And Lewis fans on the pass trying to go back to Salviti. Empty net down to our right. It's a 6-on-4 power play for Central Catholic. Trying to maintain its one-loss status, but that's on life support right now. Salviti shooting from 30 feet. He missed the goal to the left. Mertens stripped the puck. Open net down to our right. Kovac slides it in. Short-handed empty net goal, Ben Kovac. Off the assist from Mertens. Peters Township with a 5-1 lead. 93 seconds to go. Kovac chips it in. Maybe the easiest one he'll get all year, but it counts just the same. Kovac with his 7th goal of the season. And the first shorthanded goal of the year for Peters Township, technically, although put an asterisk by that one, of course. Corbel broke up that attempt from Ben Scoter to scoot by him. Actually, it was Berthold who attempted to deke. Back down the ice it goes. Power play's over. PT is 16 for 16 on the season and showing off its defensive bona fides in this game. It was number 1 defense versus number 2 defense, at least in goals against per game, coming into tonight. Central Catholic nearly creating one there. D'Orazio couldn't get it through from 10 feet out. Picked off. Final minute of play. Lifted through over Kovac's stick. So Kovac gets his 7th. Tomko gets his 7th tonight. 2 goals for New Paver. Number 2 and 3 on the year for him. And Austin Malley scores his 5th. Kyle Thomas in search of his first win of the year. Looks like he's going to get it. Camden Martin out to center ice. Took the shot on his off wing. Dold saved it. Flipped it right back out, trying to keep the play moving. Realizes it's a lost cause at this point. Phillips' drive. Tipped on the way. Chip toward the front. Ushered out of danger by Central Catholic one last time, and that's it. Indians win. Indians win 5-1. They sweep the 3-game homestand, and a big group hug for junior goalie Kyle Thomas, who earns his first win of the season in just his 2nd start. All 3 of Peters Township's goalies who've played on the season now have at least 1 win on the year, and PT improves to 5-1 overall in the season, tying Central Catholic, among others, for 2nd place in the Class AAA standings, just 1 point behind first place Seneca Valley, as we move, as I said, into the 2nd quarter of the 20-game season for PT. So, Central Catholic bucking its head early this year, but can't get past Peters Township. The Vikings fall to 5-2. Thank you again for watching tonight on 10-Band TV. Again, you can find us at 10band.tv on the internet, or just go to Roku or Amazon Fire And check out the live stream of all of our high school hockey games. You can find the schedule on 10band.tv as well. I'm sure you'll be looking for that. It's an extensive schedule in the PIHL, and we thank the league for allowing us to present their games once again. A handshake between the head coaches for Bill Connolly of Central Catholic and Rick Tingle of Peters Township. That puts a bow on tonight's show. Our next game for Peters Township on the road at Mount Lebo on the Monday after Thanksgiving, Monday the 28th. So we'll talk to you then as far as Peters Township goes. There is, however, another High School Hockey Night Live doubleheader coming up on Thursday night. Go to 10band.tv for the listings on that. For Todd Kazarowski and crew from Printscape Arena at South Point, this is Matt Gajtka saying good night and have a great rest of your Tuesday and a great rest of your week. It's photo time at center ice. We'll say goodbye for now.
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.